most Democrats as well as the Republicans agree with it. Otherwise, the laws would change. There's not a Democrat. There's very few Democrats who are really supporting more gun control.
You know how difficult it is to overturn an amendment in the Constitution. You need to get an amendment to overturn something in the Constitution. It's very rare that ever happens. Okay.
Yeah, because you need a majority to do it, and somewhere in the Constitution it has that the states can basically kick out the government too somehow. I forget what the amendment that's. What, maybe the 14th?
Well, don't forget that guy Ed, from Tampa, when he was calling in. He was talking about, a lot of the Republicans discuss states' rights. When they talk about abortion, they want to overturn Roe v. Wade. They say the state should have the right to determine who can get an abortion and who can't. That the government has nothing to do with it. Well, if you want to know the truth, the bottom line is I think it's between a woman and her doctor, and the state should have nothing to do with it.
I agree with you. I don't think anybody should be involved in it, neither the federal or the states. But
then you have, according to Ed, when he was talking, when I had said to him, you want to go back to the Greek city-states where every city-state was like a little kingdom, and the governor was like, a governor would be like a king, and they would have their own monetary system, and they would have their own army. Now, basically, under... every state has its own National Guard, but the National Guard is overseen not only by the governor, but it's under the auspices of the Army. Okay?
Yeah, I guess it is, yeah. But it's actually controlled by the governor.
Well, the governor has the right to call up the National Guard, but still the generals, they have to answer to, the army per se. I mean, when an officer in the National Guard is promoted, it's not the governor who promotes him. It's a national thing where he's promoted.
I don't know how they get promoted.
Well, part of it is has to do with length of service and your record, basically. But in the past, it's always been that no one could achieve the rank of general unless he or she, or admiral, unless he or she has seen time overseas in a war, been in a combat zone, a combat area.
I don't know. I can't argue with you, and I can't agree with you. I have to take you by your word. But how about there's generals who are doctors who don't see combat?
If you check, a lot of those doctors started out in MASH units. They were in places like Korea or Vietnam or Afghanistan or Iraq, okay? So they were serving overseas. Mm-hmm. Or even in Germany, in Landstuhl, Germany, where they have that big hospital where everybody goes, Yep.
Well, like the Navy, reserves are different. So forget what I was going to say about the reserves.
Well, the reservists, like when people, are leave the service, so to speak, the active service, they're given a choice. They can go into the reserves, which is like the National Guard, where they have a meeting every month, and in 2 weeks in the spring or summer, okay? And that way they can put in their 20 years, get their promotions, and wind up with, being able to use the PX and go to veterans hospitals, and be, taken care of for free, During World War II, my father-in-law, who flew planes, he eventually was a first lieutenant, but he stayed in the Army Air Corps, okay, and he eventually retired as a major.
Well, Dr. Mark, we've been out for a little over half an hour. I think it's time for a song. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. I could always use the time to wet my dry lips and tongue.
Okay, here comes.
Anytime, anywhere, I can pray.
Very short song.
Hear what I say. When each morning I wake, I remember to take just a moment to thank Him for this day, for the wonders I find on the way. In my mind, in my heart, I can pray. Even when there's a crowd and I can't pray out loud, still Jehovah will hear me anyway. Anytime, anywhere, I can pray. And Jehovah will hear what I say. In the night He will hear when I call, He is near. Anytime, anywhere, I can pray.
Do you realize that when that kid, that kid is now like over 21 years old?
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
You didn't hear what I said.
No, I was not on there for a second. What'd you say?
I said that kid is now 21 years old.
Probably.
That's how long it's been since he, recorded it.
Yeah.
But it is a good segue to go from politics into religion. This being our Friday show, the title of the show actually is God a vengeful God, or is He a loving God? We can go all the way back to Genesis, where He had given man and woman, Adam and Eve, everything. And, of course, He told them, don't do this. And, of course, they did it. And He, as a parent would, he punished all of mankind. From that point on, women have to feel pain when they bear children. Men have to till the land and work in order to feed their families. God's not going to give them a free handout,
You mean God was a conservative, huh?
Well, it's very possible, free enterprise, right?
Yep, go out there and work. You're not getting the government. God being the government is not giving any more handouts.
Well, that's what people like to say, when they talk about public assistance. They said that God is not the government, giving you this, that, or everything else, But and then we have God destroyed. God saw that Sodom and Gomorrah was evil, and he destroyed the cities, and He punished Lot's wife for turning around and looking back,
Well, you see, God has trained us so well that He doesn't have to do it anymore. We kill ourselves now, and we do all sorts of harm to ourselves without His help. We do a very good job at screwing things up.
Well, that's all part of man's inhumanity to man. That's why there are wars. It's as simple as that. Look, I've said it before on many shows. the one thing that we as human beings do very well is we kill each other.
Always.
In the animal kingdom, and we are part of the animal kingdom, with the exception, animals only kill to protect their herd or for food, and man kills for sport. For sport
sport and also to eat, obviously, but for food, but definitely for sport and joy. They enjoy it.
Well, they say that when a man goes hunting, they say that if they didn't kill off some of the deer or some of the fowl that they hunt for,
bears too.
That they would starve.
That's true. In certain areas there is an overpopulation of certain animals, but how about the ones that kill the elephants and kill for their ivory?
For the tusks, for the ivory.
Or kill rare animals just to have the trophy.
Well, we just had that example this year with the dentist who killed the lion.
Yeah. Yeah. But we forget the name already.
Yeah, I know. But then you have, we were talking last week, but we never finished with Chad, and unfortunately Chad the Challenger can't be with us tonight. We were talking about what kind of God allows a woman to give birth to a baby only to see that baby die within 5 years.
Or 5 minutes.
Or that's true. Or 5 minutes. You go through 9 months of labor, you have 9 months of pregnancy, you have a heavy labor, and the child is born weak.
What has the son done? The child done? He hasn't even had a chance to sin yet.
What was that?
The child even hasn't had time to sin yet.
But you see, that's part of the Catholic Church, the Catholic upbringing is we are all born in sin, because
I understand that, but still, we don't have to agree with that, do we?
Not at all.
Just because your parents sin doesn't mean the baby sins.
That's why crimes against children are so heinous, because children are innocent.
Yeah.
Children are too young to have sinned in the eyes of the Lord, okay, so to speak.
How about in the eyes of the law, in the eyes of humanity that haven't had a chance? Well, what could possibly a 2-year-old do to harm mankind? I can't think of anything.
Neither can I.
3 or 4, I can see it. It could be a pain in the neck, but still can't really hurt anybody.
Well, don't forget the terrible 2s,
Yeah, but that's nothing. That's just kids crying and this, and all that. So, I don't understand that. Those parts, that's why I can't agree with a lot of religion.
And then you have, one of the things we discussed was God giving man free choice, and you say to yourself, well, is that why there are wars? Why countries fight against each other? I remember when I was teaching, there was a poem, which I obviously can't remember the title, unfortunately. It was World War I, and the poet who wrote it happened to say that, it's only the uniform that makes him an enemy of the German, you know, that if